Dabo lost it on his defense this past Saturday, and I'm sure that's happened before, but ever since I started calling games in the ACC 2 years ago, I've never seen anything like that. I know a lot went into that ass chewing. We're now past the point where it's just, this is a rough stretch. No, we're at the point now where this is Clemson in 2025. In that moment, Clemson was at risk of going 3-5, ensuring Clemson's worst season since they went 6-7 in 2010. Dabo's relationship with the Clemson fan base is more contentious than it's ever been, but what it was immediately in response to was giving up their 4th touchdown in the first half to Duke. Yes, that Duke. Except they're not quite that Duke anymore, because the Blue Devils have a top 10 quarterback in nearly every passing metric. And with just one conference loss and a shot at handing Virginia their first ACC conference loss, Duke still has a 13% chance to make the playoffs. So with that at stake, I thought it was worthwhile to look at the dude who made Dabo crash out here. Is he as good as the numbers say? Let's check out the tape. So the stat guys want me to tell you that Darian Mensah is great on play action, and I'm sure there's something to be said about that. 877 yards this year, 10.8 per attempt. Right here, though, it's technically play action, but he's taking advantage of a coverage bust by Clemson. And I'm showing you the coverage bust because this is one of 3 that we'll get to from this Clemson defense in this game, all of which resulted in big plays for this Duke offense. They're ultimately going to hit the vertical shot on the bottom of the screen. It's technically a little flash play action fake, but the bust comes because Clemson brings both a corner and this linebacker blitzing. There is no safety help over the top, and it is an easy walk-in deep shot touchdown early on in this game. This is their 2nd touchdown. It's like the 12th offensive play in this game. Both guys blitz. No one's home. To me, this is technically play action if you're grading it out from a PFF standpoint. The stats also want me to tell you that Darian Mensah, if he wants to improve, he needs to improve with handling the pressure. And that might be a weakness in the totality of his stats, but in this game, handling pressure for Darian Mensah was a complete strong suit. PFF says that 10 of Mensah's sacks are his fault. That's 2nd most in college football behind Arkansas's Taylon Green and tied with Nebraska's Dylan Raiola and South Carolina's Lenora Sellers. But that didn't show up on tape this Saturday. He's got a curl route bottom of the screen. Both these linebackers are going to blitz for Clemson. It's a nice job by Mensah flushing out to his right a little bit or sidestepping to his right. Those of you guys that saw the John Mateer video that I did, I was critical of him being too hoppy and overly mobile in the pocket. Like, chill out, dude. Mensah, this is a great job utilizing his footwork, hitting the curl route, contested curl route on the bottom of the screen. I get to this in the back view as well. Look at the timing on this. Navigates the pocket, gets the ball out of his hands. Clemson's bringing both backers. Here we go, right here, bringing both backers. 1 backer, 2 backer for Clemson. He's going to flush out to his right. Excellent job by Mensah, and then getting the ball out of his hands accurately and on time. Bump, bump, boom, money. There we go. Another example right here. Clemson's going to bring pressure with this linebacker. This receiver's got a little over route, a little slant, little post action. He gets the ball out of his hands. He's replacing the blitz with the throw. That's always the coaching point from a quarterback's perspective. Kurt Warner always said, hey, I'd rather have a defense blitz me, because if you know where your answers are and you can get the ball out quickly, the defense is leaving zones, or at least having softer zones that you can take advantage of. That's exactly what Mensah does here. Excellent throw on time. Ball out, accurate throw right on his face, breaks a tackle. Good to go. 3rd example. I believe these are all in the same drive, too, if I'm not mistaken. Route concept, you got a little slant on top. That's ultimately who's going to get the ball. You got a little wheel route by the tight end. Bottom of the screen, I didn't write the route concept, so ignore that. But what's important, all these guys are blitzing for Clemson. They're coming to the right. This defensive end, as a result of pressure from down here, this end up top is going to drop back over here. This safety working his way towards the left, so there's some vacated grass right here that you can take advantage of quarterback-wise if you are Darian Mensah. He recognizes that, hits the post route, top of screen, pressure's coming, ball out, take advantage of your one-on-one matchup, touchdown Duke. Believe all 3 of those plays were on the same drive, all of which they're bringing pressure. He knows where his answers are, getting the ball out of his hands. He does have a tendency over the totality of the season for his turnovers to come at inopportune times, as you can see in these spider charts. He was much better in terms of points his turnovers cost his team. I'm nitpicking, but when the rest of your game is this good, what can improve is way clearer to see. Here's an example where Darian Mensah wasn't perfect, and this is really cool. You guys are going to love this because it's a little bit of an offensive coordinator chess match. So I want want you to pay attention to two routes. They got a little hitch here on the bottom of the screen, and they got a little seam route on the top of the screen. Clemson lines up in like a two-high shell. Looks like it's cover 4, but then they're gonna switch to like a cover 2, like a Tampa 2 look. Deep safety here, deep corner here, and then this safety is now going to be that middle player. As a result of it being cover 2, this corner can leak in and try to steal this hitch route. This linebacker's blitzing, a lot going on defensively, and it traps Darian Mensah. He almost throws a pick to the hitch on the bottom of the screen. Check this out. 1, 2, 3, ball out. Can't happen. He's lucky. That should have been pick. That should have been pick. But the reason I call that out, check this out. Check this out. Boom, ball's out. This dude is coming wide ass open, seam down the middle of the field, wide open. And so if you're looking at the iPad and you're Duke's OC, you're like, yo, we got to get back to this seam route against Tampa 2, because Tampa 2, the vulnerability of the defense is in the deep middle. Deep middle. They're saying, hey, offensively, you're not going to consistently be able to execute that. Real quick, if you're enjoying this video, hit the subscribe button down below. We're closing in on 50,000 thanks to you guys. Now back to the video. Literally 2 plays later. You're an offensive coordinator. You're saying, hey, Darian Mensah just made a mistake. It's all good. I trust him. I'm going to give him the keys to the car. And then look at what Duke gets to. That same look defensively for Clemson. You got that same kind of too high look, but what they're going to do is roll this safety down. He's middle half player. This corner ends up going deep to he's middle half player. Again, you got that trap corner, and then I believe they blitz this guy. I think so, but that's beside the point. The point I'm trying to drive home for Duke in the slot, they got this number 2 receiver running the seam, not wide open, but he's open, and Darian Mensah delivers a strike. 2 plays after, he gets this same coverage, almost throws a pick. The way that he responds, and this is technically play action, absolute dime. That's great quarterback play, great O-scene by Duke. Bringing this full circle to the earlier point, I mentioned the coverage bust by Clemson with that first play. Well, here's 2 more, both of which are on the last drive of the game and ultimately lead to Clemson losing the game. Here, you got a little curl route, bottom of screen, and then you got a vertical route by the tight end. Nothing basic. This safety out of position. He's floating back here. Well, if you're a middle half player, you got to play in between number 1 here and number 2 here. This tight end, no linebacker goes with him. Safety's not involved. He's wide open down the middle of the field. Darian Mensah gets him the ball. He breaks a couple tackles. This is the play. You can see Duke, they're way backed up, almost into their own end zone. Game on the line, 2-minute drill. There's like just over a minute left, maybe 2 minutes left. This is an absolute gift and a coverage bust by Clemson. Safety out of the way. This tight end wide open. Wide open. Can't let that happen if you're Clemson. Miscommunication number 2. Second time Duke takes advantage. If you're going to be out of place, too, you got to tackle. Man, broken tackle, that's an extra like 25 yards. Change the complexion of the game. And then this is the 2-point call. And I was literally in the booth calling my game, and someone goes, hey, Max, do you go for 2 here? The answer every single time, regardless of who the team is, when someone should or should not go for 2 late in the game, my answer is, how much do you love your play call? Is it just a random play call that you're like, oh, this sounds good? Or is it something that you are scheming up specifically to beat the defense that you're seeing? Because you're seeing something on film, like they're not getting lined up. They don't cover this route well. They don't cover this formation well. Well, I love the call by Duke here because there is so much eye candy. They start with, in this formation, 3 receivers to the left, 2 receivers to the right, full empty formation. And then watch me as I play it, or watch this as I play it. They're going to then shift. Shift, where this is the offensive tackle. He's coming to the right-hand side. They're going to have 3 offensive linemen on one side, and then they are going to bring the tight end back to the left side. So right here, you have a tight end in the left tackle spot, and then you have 3 offensive linemen here. You're also now went from what was empty formation the way that we saw it to then now you have a wing formation, 3 receivers on this side, 3 linemen on this side, all sorts of totally goofy formation. Hard to line up to if you're Clemson. Then you bring the jet motion, eye candy. 2 Clemson linebackers go with him there. They're all sorts of screwed up. Play action, roll out. No one covers him. No one covers him. You could make the argument that Peter Woods, the defensive tackle, is like in the vicinity. But what they're doing is they're trying to pin that end around and then have Peter Woods, loop around and try to be a free rusher and make a play. I don't think he's supposed to be in coverage. If he is supposed to be in coverage, it's just a bad decision. But it's a mishap where they get all screwed up formationally and there's no one on this guy. This looks like Peter Woods supposed to cover him, but I think he was rushing the passer and then naturally just fell into that arrow route. Excellent design by Duke. Excellent call by Duke. But big picture, it's Darian Mensah ballin'. He is top 10 in the country in both passing touchdowns and passing yards. The high-profile transfer working out for the Blue Devils.